Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the Pluta channel. Today I'm doing paid review 21QA77. Now unfortunately he sent me images that are massive images, so now the font on the text is super small. So I have to put my magnifiers on to read this. Paul, please use only my first name. Sean, that's Sean. I've enjoyed your content for a long time. But was not comfortable enough with my collection to seek your opinion on its current state and potential next piece. Apologies up front for the long email. I don't often get the opportunity to talk about watches in detail. Hopefully my donation of $100 makes up for it. I am very happy with the way the collection sits now and don't feel the desire to sell these pieces in the future. I've done buying, selling and trading in the past, and honestly, I'm comfortable enough in my taste now to know where I can fairly accurately judge whether or not I'll be happy with a watch in the long term. At this point in my life, I don't want to deal with selling and trading, so I buy less frequently and for keeps. I am by no means wealthy, but I'm comfortable with a steady income and enough money to divide between my family and different hobbies. Below is a list of the watches in my collection and some notes on each. Number one, we've got a Lange & Söhne Saxonia automatic 380026. We'll just see if I can see. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Latest addition to the collection, 38.5 mils, white gold. For me, this will not be a daily driver, but something to wear on and enjoy frequently when I can expect not to have too many crazy physical activities. Absolutely love the attention to detail on the smaller parts, like the design of the pin buckle and the platinum oscillating weight. Number two, we've got a Vacheron Constantin Overseas. I sought out this later production 37mm with a slightly beefier and more robust movement. I absolutely love this watch. Something to do with the way the bracelet articulates the size of the links, and the overall thinness and balance of the watch makes it unquestionably the most comfortable watch I've worn. If God forbid something were to happen to my collection, this would be the one I would be most upset about losing. It currently at VC for a service. Then we've got a Rolex Explorer 1 214270, 39mm with full lume. This is my daily driver and has traveled with me all over the world without missing a beat. This watch is in daily competition with the Overseas for my favorite watch. This watch is the only one I've bought at the AD. Then we've got a Omega Speedmaster X33. This is a Gen 1 model with the more traditional looking crown. I like the look of this watch and it functions, but I don't wear it very often, mainly when riding my motorcycle. I bought it for under $1,200. Since it's quartz, I don't feel too bad about subjecting the watch to continuous vibrations and getting it thrashed. Then we've got a Cartier Tank Francais. I bought this watch for the wife, but still counted as part of my collection. And then a Tudor Black Bay 36 79500. Bought this watch used when the Black Bay 36 was first released. I believe it has an ETA movement. I paid $850 from someone who felt it was too small for their wrist. I no longer wear this watch, but keep it around because I plan on eventually getting a steel bracelet and giving it to my kid when she's old enough to wear a nice watch. Kind of a test to see if she can handle the responsibility of an expensive watch. I don't really know what I want for my next watch. Maybe something more visually and technically complex. I find minute repeaters to be extremely interesting, but they are out of my price range. If money were no object, I'd love to own a Cartier Crash. What do you think I should look at next? A Lange calendar, Vacheron Constantin Histories 1955 in steel. A Patek World Time would be great as it design is simply amazing. Rolex Cellini Moonphase, Vacheron Overseas, Chronograph Gen 2. I've also considered a higher end clock like an Atmos or MB&F. Not really interested in steel Rolex at this point. I'll get a Rolex for the wife, but she isn't very interested in wearing watches in general. So this here's his review here. Okie dokie. What away. Let's have a look here. So just having a sticky beak here. We've got the, let's have a look, the Lange. I got to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the Saxonia. I prefer the 1815. The Saxonia is their ultra thin. I think the Saxonia, it's a nice watch. It's a nice watch. Probably not my cup of tea personally, but that doesn't make it a bad watch. It is beautiful, white gold, beautiful. You've got the Vacheron. I gotta be honest with you, I kind of find that bracelet rather hideous and ugly. You like it, so that's good. I think the next generation had a much nicer bracelet, and the dial had the very nice sort of guilloche pattern. But it's a quality. The Vacheron's not garbage. It is a decent watch there. The Rolex, definitely 39mm Rolex, beautiful. That's now we're talking. That's a decent watch, the Rolex. Okay. Now the X33, they've actually gone up. They're a bit of an anomaly because they are a quartz Speedmaster. You might want to sell it because they have gone up. The problem with them is when the circuit dies, they're kind of, it's good night Irene. So that's the problem with that. Tank Francais, I got to be honest with you, Tank Francais, a lot of women love them. They're very 90s, early 2000s sort of watch. The big problem is, of course, they're not waterproof. They're water resistant. They're not waterproof like a Rolex. And then you've got the Tudor Black Bay 36. Okay, so look, you've got some nice pieces there. The Lange, the Vacheron. I got to be totally honest with you. I don't mean this in a rude way, but I don't know. I don't get the vibe. You're the sort of person... How do I put this? I don't get the vibe that you're kind of loaded. I don't get the vibe. Now that's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, let's be honest. The Saxonia, I think, is kind of their entry-level Lange. The Vacheron you've got, that's kind of, it's cheap for a good reason. It's ugly. The Rolex is great. I think you're probably upper middle class. And I got to be totally honest with you. I do appreciate this review. I just don't get the feeling you're a Lange annual calendar person or a History's 1955 in steel. That's the triple date. A Patek World. I just don't get the feeling you're that wealthy. Or you might be earning the coin. It looks like you might be a doctor with that thing around your wrist there. But I think you may be a bit stingy. I'm sorry. I gotta tell it how it is, man. I make these reviews in all honesty. I read your review and I just didn't get the vibe. I didn't get the vibe. What would I get if I was you? You got a nice Lange. I like the Lange. The Vacheron, you love the Vacheron. The Vacheron's a good watch. May not be to my style, but it is a good watch. The Rolex is a good watch. I don't think it's cool to include the wife's watches in your collection. Yeah. The Tudor Black Bay 36. I got to be totally honest with you. I just don't get the feeling you're super wealthy. I just don't get it. I mean, I think you might be making good bucks, but I just get the feeling you always opt out for cheap, cheap, cheap. I'm sorry to say that to you, but this is the vibe I get. I get the vibe. Minute repeaters, I mean, you know we're in minute repeater tech. All these watches you've got here, you're talking about minute repeaters. I can't see how anything is minute repeater level in your collection. Then you talk about the Lange annual calendar, maybe. The Vacheron Histories 1955, maybe. Is that even the right reference? What is that? I'm just going to have a look. Is that the right reference? Let's have a look. Vacheron 1955. Oh, 1955 is the little dress watch. Sorry. Yeah, okay. In steel. Why steel? Why steel? I get the feeling you're always trying to nickel and dime. You're trying to be cheap. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. That way you're trying to be cheap. A Cellini Moonfades. I don't think you're in that league. Vacheron Overseas Chronograph Gen 2. See, again, that's a bargain. It's a cheap. It's affordable. I don't know whether you're in fantasy land or what you live in, but I got to be totally honest with you. I reckon a great watch for you would be a JLC Reverso. Okay, that'd be a great watch. I'd get one of those. Forget this Fantasyland, Vacheron, and Patek. Let's be realistic. I reckon that'd give you some really good backbone. You have your Vacheron, so you have your Lange, you have a Vacheron, your Rolex. The Omega, I'd probably get rid of. They've gone up a bit. You might be able to get out of that and make a little bit. The Cartier, that's the wife's watch. You can't really include that in your collection. And the 36, the way you word this, it makes it seem like it's all the money in the world when you got it for a lousy $850. I tend to say a JLC Reverso of some sort. Get the grand size. Don't go stingy on me, okay? I got the feeling everything you do is kind of stingy. An Atmos clock. I don't know what fantasy land you're living in. I don't see you're of that kind of level myself. Okay, is that rude for me to say that? A JLC would be a great watch. I tell you what, a great watch for you would be a Breguet Type 20. Type 20 would be ideal for you because it's pretentious but cheap. Another great watch would be a Zenith El Primero Chronomaster Open Heart, or the 38. Get the classic one. That's an amazing watch. But yeah, so that's a bit of recommendations. I hope you're not too offended with what I'm saying. I'm trying to read your soul, and it just doesn't come across as gazillionaire. It kind of comes across as upper middle at most. I'm sorry. This is how I feel. This is what I gotta tell you. It's not a bad collection. I mean, the Lange's cool. The Vacheron is cool. Even though I don't like it, it's still a cool watch. The Explorer is very cool. I just get the wrong vibe. You're not the sort of person who'd go and buy a Lange annual calendar. It's like we're playing here with an Audi A3 or a BMW 2 Series, and then the next statement you're talking about buying a 7 Series. It just, I don't quite understand. And I suppose that's kind of where I get the bad rub on it. But I gotta be truthful. That's what it is. People want me to be truthful. You said, I'm by no means wealthy, but I'm comfortable. I think you're stingy. I mean, you weren't stingy in paying $100, that's for sure. You weren't stingy there, but I think don't cheap out on the watches. Don't cheap out. Pay a bit more. That's my advice, okay? So there you go, 3 recommendations. JLC Reverso, get a grand size. Breguet Type 20, or the Zenith El Primero Chronomeister. Guys, that's the paid review. Guys, remember, I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need paid reviews. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. $50 for a paid review, and I will tell you the truth. If I think you're shooting above your income, I'll tell you. If I get a bad vibe, I will tell you my honest feelings. I hope you understand and appreciate the honesty. Guys, get a paid review done now. Look down below in the description and organize one today. I'm ArchieLuxury, and I will see you in the next one. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.